all of us, not just legislators, but all of us Texans have an obligation and should come together to reinvent HISD in a way that will ensure that we're going to be providing the best quality education for those kids.
Only if he meant that. He doesn't really. That was Texas Governor Greg Abbott applauding his government's decision to take over Houston's nearly 200,000 student school district. Take a look at this headline. Texas announces takeover of Houston schools, stirring anger. Anger is stirred. The announcement made by Republican Governor Greg Abbott's Education Commissioner Mike Morath, amounts to one of the largest school takeovers ever in the United States. It also deepens a high-stakes rift between Texas's largest city, where Democrats wield control, and state Republican leaders who have sought increased authority following election fumbles and COVID-19 restrictions. Morath's explanation for the takeover. Morath said the board has failed to improve student outcomes while conducting chaotic board meetings marred by infighting and violating Open Meetings Act and procurement laws. He accused the district of failing to provide proper special education services and of violating state and federal laws with this approach to supporting students with disabilities. Now, this has been an ongoing mission for Abbott's government. Phyllis Wheatley High School, where 96% of the students financially qualify for free lunch programs and the student body is made up almost entirely of people of color, was cited as the primary reason for the TEA's original attempt to take control of the school district in 2019. Now, here's the kicker. The kicker is that the district has actually improved its results, countering what Mike Morath's claims. Take a look at these tweets from the Houston CVPE. Since 2015, HISD reduced its number of low performance schools from 58 to 9. Wheatley earned a C this year, and the voters elected a new school board. Shouldn't Morath be congratulating HISD for its successful turnaround? One would think. And this is a political ploy by Governor Abbott, make no mistake about it. And it feels a lot like what Governor DeSantis is doing in Florida, because of course, all these right-wingers are singing from the same hymnal. This headline right here, Abbott says schools must stop pushing woke agenda. There it is. Now they need to go on back and look at what Jessica and I did in that first segment and breaking down what woke really originally meant. And they need to pick up Dr. Fleming's book. Jessica?
Yeah, it's so hard to watch the news and not, or even read the news and be not desensitized to stuff like this. Because when I first read this story, I was like, yeah, of course this is happening in Texas. But if I take away the word Texas and the word Houston and really just talk about bare bones what's happened here. So a community had a school that was run by people who were elected from the folks in that community to represent them, be on the school board, run the schools. The teachers are from the community, and then folks who don't live in that community decided they don't like how they're doing things, so they took it over and decided to make their own rules about what should happen there. That is authoritarianism. That's anti-democratic practices at their core, what's going on there in Texas. And so they try and make it seem like this school district wasn't doing well and we're coming in to help them. And of course, as you break down, that's not at all what was going on. And of course, they don't mention that this district hadn't been receiving adequate public funding for quite some time. And that's why they weren't doing so well. Still with that constraint, they were improving upon themselves. So it's very obvious this is an agenda they have for political reasons. And it's coming from the same party that's warning about big government. We need to have more local decision making in the United States, but it's only if those local districts agree with what they think and what their agenda is. That's anti-democratic at its core.
Yeah, it is. You got to do what the overlords say, or else they're coming in and taking you over. So there's no surprise that there are a lot of critics of Governor Abbott and what he is doing, rightfully so. And the Texas State Teachers Association weighed in on this, and so did the ACLU. The American Civil Liberties Union of Texas condemned the takeover. At a news conference in Austin, state Democratic leaders called for the legislature to increase funding for education and to raise teacher pay. Absolutely must be done. So instead of, an annual Census Bureau survey of public school funding showed Texas spent about $10,000 per pupil in the 2020 fiscal year, more than $3,000 less than the national average, according to the Kinder Institute for Urban Research at Rice University in Houston. So they're not even making the requisite investments to ensure that the children in those school districts get the proper education that they not only need, but they deserve. So instead of announcing a takeover of the school district, Greg, how about you do your job as governor and just go ahead and put some more resources into educating the children? How about that? You could do that. But to be honest, that's a lot to ask of a guy who said this during the Uvalde massacre. Could have been worse. That's what this man said, could have been worse. Texas, y'all deserve so much better. You really, really, really do. Any final thoughts on this, Jessica?
It's just what I would expect from someone like Greg Abbott. Let's also remember when Uvalde happened, he was on his way to a fundraiser to get more money from corporate donors for his political career. This is a career politician who cares about making money above serving people. And that should be very obvious from his decisions, but from his actions when he should be present in the community.
Yeah, true that. Come on, Texas. Y'all say everything is bigger. It should be better, okay? Let's not focus on bigger. Let's focus on better. Texas, you deserve and you can do a whole lot better.